Here's the thing. In our rush to master the material world, we've left a lot of wisdom in the dust. Ancient philosophies that once guided humanity have been dismissed as outdated, impractical, or too mystical to fit into our scientific worldview. But as we push the edges of what we know, as science delves into the strange realms of consciousness, quantum mechanics, and interconnected systems, we're finding echoes of these old ideas. They might have sounded esoteric, but they were onto something. Something we're just beginning to rediscover. Think of these philosophies like well-worn maps, etched over millennia, not by people looking to control reality, but those looking to understand it. Let's explore some of these ancient perspectives and see what they may have known about the world that we are just beginning to rediscover. First, Hermeticism, as above, so below. This simple phrase carries profound weight. It teaches us that what happens in the cosmos is mirrored within us, and vice versa. As above, so below, as within, so without. The idea that our inner world reflects the vastness of the universe. Sounds poetic, right? But it's also startlingly close to what science is now telling us. Look at fractal patterns, from the spiral of galaxies to the structure of seashells. The same shapes repeat on every scale. This isn't magic in a conventional sense. It's about harmony that underlies everything, a kind of cosmic mirror. This ancient view gives us a lens to see our thoughts, emotions, and actions as inseparably linked to the whole, like notes in a universal song. Secondly, Taoism, going with the flow. Taoism is all about the Tao, or the way, the natural flow of the universe. Balance, like the soft blending with the hard, yin and yang. Taoism tells us that true strength comes from embracing life's currents, not from trying to dam them up. Western culture tends to see this as passive, but it's far from that. Surrender doesn't mean giving up, it means moving with the world's rhythms, like a river finding its way around rocks. A radical approach to resilience, showing us that our attempts to control everything might actually weaken us, while real power comes from embracing the ebb and flow of life. Thirdly, Vedanta, the unity of all things. One of the philosophies that arose from ancient India. Vedanta speaks to the idea that all reality is one. Not some feel-good notion, a profound statement about interconnectedness. According to Vedanta, the boundaries between self and other are illusions, part of a cosmic play, or Maya. Today, with science exploring quantum entanglement, the idea of connected particles separated by light years, responding to each other instantly, isn't just science fiction, it's reality. Vedanta tells us that our sense of separateness is like a mist, a distortion of perception. It calls us to look past our limited perspective to see ourselves as part of a vast, unified field. Fourth, Stoicism, mastery over the self. Stoicism teaches resilience, not by toughening up, but by changing how we view the world. The Stoics believed in focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our reactions, and letting go of what we can't. It's straightforward, almost obvious, but think about how radical this is in a world obsessed with control. When modern psychology talks about emotional resilience, the principles often echo back to Stoic practices. Stoicism doesn't promise that life will be easy. It promises that with the right perspective, you can face anything. The art of staying grounded while the storm rages around you. A way to face life's challenges without letting them own you. Next, we have Platonism, beyond the shadows. Plato's theory of form suggests that what we see in the physical world is just a shadow of a higher, perfect reality. Think of it as a blueprint. Everything here is a reflection of a more real, ideal version out there. Plato's ideas may sound mystical, but modern physics is starting to explore concepts that align surprisingly well. Theories about multiverses and higher dimensions echo Plato's realm of forms. He's telling us that our reality is only a slice of a bigger picture, like light filtering through a keyhole, hinting at worlds beyond our comprehension. Sixth, we have alchemy, transformation of the self. Alchemy isn't just about turning lead into gold, it's about turning ourselves, our minds, our spirits into something purer, stronger. The alchemist saw the physical act of transformation as a metaphor for inner growth, for achieving the philosopher's stone within. Carl Jung drew from alchemical symbols to explore the path of self-discovery, what he called individuation. The real gold for the alchemists was the wisdom earned in transforming oneself. This ancient practice reminds us that life's challenges aren't obstacles to overcome, but fires that refine us, helping us become something new. Seventh is Sufism. The heart knows. Sufism, the mystical path of Islam, believes that true knowledge isn't gained with the mind, but felt with the heart. It's the path of love, connection, and surrender. Sufis speak of God as something we find within, not as a distant figure, but as an intimate presence we experience directly. In a world that values intellect over intuition, Sufism reminds us that there's wisdom in feeling and listening to what resonates beyond words. Sufis teach that the divine isn't out there, it's within us, an experience of unity that can't be rationalized, only felt. Eighth, we have Buddhism, the illusion of self. Buddhism holds that the self we cling to is an illusion, a fleeting collection of thoughts, emotions, and memories that constantly change. This idea was dismissed by a world focused on building a stable, strong identity, but neuroscience is beginning to explore concepts that resonate with Buddhist teachings, revealing that our brains are wired for change, for growth, and that the self isn't as fixed as we once thought. Buddhism offers a freedom from attachment, a release from the tight grip of ego, allowing us to experience life without the constraints of identity. And ninth, Indigenous spirituality, where they saw life as sacred. They carried a profound respect for nature, seeing every part of the earth as sacred, alive, and connected. They teach us that humanity isn't separate from the earth, we're stewards of it. In a world driven by extraction and consumption and materialism, these traditions remind us of the delicate balance we've disrupted. Indigenous wisdom doesn't see rivers and mountains as resources, they're kin. At a time when the environment is on the brink, their teachings are no longer primitive, but essential truths we need to survive. And last but not least, number 10, Zoroastrianism, light against the dark. One of the oldest spiritual paths, Zoroastrianism teaches us that life is a battleground between light and darkness, between good and evil. It's not a simplistic dualism, it's a reminder that we are all facing inner battles, a daily tug-of-war between our higher self and our lower impulses. Zoroastrianism tells us that life isn't about avoiding this conflict, but embracing it, choosing the light in our thoughts and actions. A call to honor integrity, to recognize that the path isn't free of obstacles, but those very obstacles shape us into who we're meant to be. These ancient philosophies aren't relics of forgotten time, they're blueprints, carved by cultures that spent lifetimes pondering the mysteries of existence. They remind us that science and spirituality aren't separate, they're different languages for the same search. Ancient wisdom traditions who saw life as a journey of understanding rather than control, challenging us to look beyond what we can measure, to see life not just as it is, but as it could be. A universe where science and spirit come together in one continuous, breathtaking reality. Humanfluence out.